Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea and I'm so happy that you're here. We are starting a new reading vlog and to be honest, I'm a little disgusted with myself. My screen time has been outrageous. I'm not sure what happened. Last week I hosted a 7 books in 7 days reading challenge over on my Instagram and I vlogged the whole thing. You can find that linked in the description box down below if you're interested. But I assumed that because I was reading so much that I would be off my phone a little bit more, and to be honest, I was on my phone even more than the prior weeks. I'm not sure how that happened. But we are tackling this issue in this week's reading vlog. We are swapping our screen time for our reading. I've seen a ton of booktubers do this challenge, so if this is new to you, I will give you a little brief description. I am taking my screen time for every day for about a week, and I'm going to replace it with reading for this week. So today is Tuesday, and I will be looking at last Tuesday's screen time, and I will be reading for that long today. Last week's screen time was 5 hours and 41 minutes. It was so painful for me. I'm not sure what happened, to be honest, but I'm hoping through this challenge that not only will I be reading more, but also off my phone more. I'm hoping that if I have that much reading time that I won't have time to pick up my phone. Fingers crossed, we'll see. Last week I read a lot and I was still on my phone a ridiculous amount of time. So let's quickly talk about the TBR. I am currently in the middle of Blood and Steel by Helen Schurer on my Kindle. And I will be finishing that probably today because I have 5 hours and 41 minutes to read. I'm currently 35% through this book, page 185. There are 550 pages in this book, so I'm confident I will finish this either today or tomorrow. I do have the audiobook, which I'm loving, and I do have to run some errands today, so I'll probably be listening to the audiobook a bit while I'm out and about and timing that as part of my hours. So I'll come back with like an update of where I'm at, probably around the halfway point, and we'll give you like a brief synopsis about how I'm feeling about that, but I am really enjoying the audiobook. I started this last week during my 7 and 7 and I didn't finish it, so I would love to finish that this week. I'm also focusing on my fall TBR, but before I can focus on my fall TBR, I need to finish my summer TBR. I have one book left on my summer TBR, and that is A Queen of Thieves and Chaos. This is the 3rd book in the series by K.A. Tucker. There are 4 books out. The 4th book just came out, and I do have the 4th book as well, so I would love to get to this, but I actually started this probably 2 months ago, and I could not remember what happened in book 2, so I really need to go read a synopsis, like a spoilery synopsis of what happens, because I don't want to reread this series to finish it. I just want to jump into book 3, but I need to read a synopsis so I can figure out like what happened at the end before I pick this up, because I was very confused. I stopped on like page 4 because I had no idea what was going on, so I need to do that this week as well. This is a chunky one. It's just over 588 pages, so just a little bit longer than Blood and Steel. We are really tackling some chunky romantasy in this reading vlog. You're welcome. So I would love to finish this week as well. And the next book I have is Bunny. I don't really know much about this. I put this on my fall TBR because it was giving like dark academia, maybe a little bit culty vibes, and I felt like it was very fall appropriate. So I'll be reading this. Besides these 3 books, I only have one other book left on my September TBR, and that book's not out yet, so we'll see how I get with these 3 books. If I finish all 3 of these, then we will figure out what I will read next a little bit later in this video, but for now, this is where we're gonna start. I need to get going with today's time, 5 hours and 41 minutes, and I will check in when I have an update. 2 hours and 46 minutes left on my timer, and I am currently now 69% into Blood and Steel. I wanted to give like a brief synopsis and kind of tell you my thoughts so far. I definitely feel like I'll finish this book today. So essentially, our main character, Thea, has always wanted to be like one of the highest warriors of Thesmar. They call them war swords, and her like biggest ambition in life is to become a war sword. The only problem is there was a prophecy 20 years prior that speaks of a woman who wields a blade in one hand and death in another, and basically like all will fall. They say the veil will fall, and I think the veil is like the space between like the monsters that come out at night and the human race. So 20 years ago, when this prophecy came out, they forbid women from carrying blades. So women are no longer allowed to be in the army, to fight for Thesmar, to fight for the realm, anything like that. So Thea's hope, her dream to become a war sword, is pretty impossible. But she starts out at the beginning of this book trying to become a shield bearer, which is like the first step in the Thesmar army, I think is essentially what it is. She meets a man, Wilder Hawthorne, who is a war sword and like the youngest to ever become a war sword. He's very fierce, he is feared, they call him dangerous. He's kind of a jerk to her, to be honest, as you would expect, but they are forced to spend time together in her journey to get approval to become a warrior, and are forced to be together, spend time together, train together, all of that stuff. So from the beginning of the book to right now is her like getting the approval to train, as well as her experiences with the others in the army who are all men, and her relationship, or budding friendship, I should say, with Wilder Hawthorne. So far, I'm really loving this book. I think the world building is fantastic. It's kind of a slow build, which I appreciate, because I think sometimes in fantasy romances, it tends to jump straight to like the romance or a bunch of info dumping right at the beginning, so you can jump right in and kind of run with it. But I noticed this in Kindred's Curse Saga, as well as this series. This is book 1 in the Legends of Thesmar series. So both of those two series specifically, I've noticed that the world building is very slow on purpose to kind of ease you in, not to do a bunch of info dumping right at the beginning, so you don't feel like overwhelmed, or like more show than tell, which I really appreciate. So I'm enjoying the world a ton. I actually feel like they could give us like a little bit more information, because I think there's some little hints that have been dropped that I'm kind of like, oh, that's like, I'm noticing like I need to remember that for the future, because I think that's going to come up later on. So I'm really loving the world building. I'm loving Thea as a character. She's tough, she's resilient, she's not giving up, she knows what she wants, and I appreciate that in a female main character. And I'm just like really loving her character as a whole, with her interactions with her friends, her sister, her enemies. Like, I'm just really loving her as an overall character. I also really like Wilder. I think there's a lot to him that we don't know yet, and I'm excited to dig a little deeper into him. This is mainly told from Thea's perspective, but every like 5 or 6 chapters we get a chapter from his perspective, which is really fun. And you're kind of getting like little snippets about his life and how he's feeling, and you know he's attracted to her, but like he's not doing anything about it, and kind of like how he's been hurt in the past and how his past hurts are affecting him and like influencing his decisions now. So I'm really enjoying that as well. I'm just having a great time. Like, I don't know if I'm quite getting like overall absolute 5-star feels, but I'm really into this book so far. I'm really intrigued by the world. I want to pick up book 2. It is on Kindle Unlimited, which is great, and I also have it on audio, and I'm enjoying the audio so much. Our narrator does a great job. We also have a male narrator for when Wilder's chapters come up, which is so fun. I'm just really into it. Like, it keeps me on my toes. I keep wanting to pick it up. So for me, that's a win. And I'm excited to get back in. I have less than 200 pages left. I'm currently on page 367. So I definitely think I'll finish this today. If not in this time, I'm not sure I'll be able to put it down once I get to the end. So I'm just having a great time. So I'm gonna keep reading right now and see how far I can get before school pickup, and then I will probably pick it up again tonight. But I'm getting a little nervous because I have 2 hours and 46 minutes left. I probably have another 30 minutes of reading right now, and then I have to do quite a bit tonight. So, but it has been keeping me off my phone, which is the important thing. So, okay, I just finished Blood and Steel and immediately downloaded book 2. It's called Vows and Ruins. I can't wait. The last 20% of this book is one thing after the other. Stuff just keeps happening, and we learn a few secrets. We learn Wilder's feelings. We get some more of his perspective, and there's a couple of scenes where we get his POV that I think was so well done, and we needed it in his POV to understand what's happening next, right? I think I'm gonna give this book 4.5 stars. I don't know. I'm literally off the high of finishing this book, but that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. It didn't quite hit 5 stars for me. There were a couple of things that didn't make sense in my mind, like the timeline or how something happened. I was like, I don't get how that works, but it didn't really take away much from my enjoyment of the book. So I had a great time with this. I'm so glad I read it, and I'm going to pick up book 2 this week at some point. I need to read something off my physical TBR first before I can jump right into this, and I can't believe I'm starting another fantasy romance series, but here we are. This is who I am. We're doing it, so I'm so happy. I currently have 34 minutes and 6 seconds left on my timer, so I think I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna make some dinner, spend some time with my family, and then I will read, I think Bunny. I think I'm gonna pick up Bunny tonight. I don't know if I can jump fantasy romance series into Queen of Thieves and Shadows right now. Queen of Thieves and Chaos, I think is what it's called. I don't know if I can jump world that fast. So I might have to wait until tomorrow or the next day to pick that up. So I'm gonna pick up Bunny, I think, tonight. We'll see how it goes. I will only have to read for 34 minutes, which is really exciting. I did better today than I thought I was going to do, so I'm really happy about that. But I honestly think this number is the lowest number for the week. So we'll just see. We'll see where we go. And 41 minutes of reading done for the day. I am on page 30 of Bunny. I might read a little bit more just to get to the end of a chapter, but I think I'm going to be done for the day because I'm tired. I'm going to watch a little bit of YouTube and go to sleep, and I will let you know tomorrow how much reading I have. I'm nervous, but we're going to do it. Hello, my friends. It's day 2 of our swapping screen time for reading challenge, and today is slightly longer than yesterday. As you saw, I did finish my time last night. I ended up reading maybe 5 more pages of Bunny, not very much more, just to get to the end of a chapter. I am curious about Bunny. I'm going in with a very open mind, no real expectations. I've heard it's wild, bananas like off the wall. So I'm just going in for a good time. I think I'm going to focus on Bunny like in the evening, only because I found myself switching between audio and physical or ebook during the day while I'm doing things around the house or running errands and then getting to sit down a little bit. So for me, I've just found that's easier. So I am going to jump to A Queen of Thieves and Chaos today. I am a little torn because I want to pick up Vows and Ruins, but I really need to just read Queen of Thieves and Chaos. I've been putting it off for so long, so I just need to get it done. So I'm going to do that today. I have a little bit of work at my desk to do, so I'm going to put on the audiobook and get started. But today's time is 5 hours and 47 minutes. So only 6 more minutes than yesterday, which is not too bad, but I'm just creeping closer to that 6-hour mark, and that is really hard for me to come to terms with, to be honest. So I am going to set my timer for 5 hours and 47 minutes. I'm going to put on my headphones. I'm going to do some work here. I also don't have a ton of plans today, so hopefully I'll get some good like sit down time to read. This book is the 3rd in a series, so spoiler free, I'm going to be pretty vague with my thoughts, but I don't really remember very much from the end of book 2. I briefly just picked it up just to like skim at the end. I think I'm just going to have to jump into it. Hopefully I'll figure out what's going on as I get started. So those are my current plans. I'm going to go ahead and get started, drink my coffee, and kind of start my day. And I will let you know when I have a brief synopsis, if I have any idea what's going on in this book, once I get a little bit into our time for the day. It's been less than 20 minutes and I already need to pivot because I really don't like the audiobook of A Queen of Thieves and Chaos. So I'm going to have to read this all physically. I am going to pivot and pick up Vows and Ruins, I think. I don't really want to read 2 fantasy books at the same time. So I need to figure out what I'm going to read next, because I can't listen to the audiobook. It's not good. So I need some time to think before I decide what I'm going to actually read today. quite a dent in today's time. We are at 1 hour and 53 minutes left, which is great, but I think I assumed that I would be a little bit further along than I am now, so I have a little bit of work to do for the rest of the day. It's almost 2:30 and I'm not going to be able to read for the next few hours, so I'm going to have quite a bit of reading to do tonight. I ended up putting down A Queen of Thieves and Chaos. I'm gonna soft DNF it for now. I'm just not that into it, and I don't know, I think my brain is not there right now with that book. I am still thinking about Blood and Steel, and I kind of just want to pick up that book next, and I also don't want to read too many books at once. So the audiobook I picked up this morning was The Kiss Curse, which is the second book in the standalone series, with The Ex-Hex is book 1, I think, and it's about a small town, and it's kind of interconnected. So the main characters from the first 2 books, their cousin and brother, are the love interests in the second book, and they don't like each other. They're kind of rivals in this town. They own competing companies, and magic is real, but they can't let the humans know that magic is real, so it's kind of a gimmick in this small town, but there is real magic. I am not that far into it. Well, I'm 43%. It's a fun time. It's giving me lots of fall vibes, which is fun. I decided to make pumpkin bread while listening to it today because it just got me in the fall mood, which I'm really happy about. It's not a 5-star read for me, but it is doing exactly what I wanted it to do, and it's a little bit of a slow burn, so I'm excited to see kind of when they start actually falling in love, because they're starting to have some feelings for each other, but nothing major has happened yet, so I'm excited to get to that, and I'm enjoying that. And then I'll just continue reading, I'm going to continue reading Bunny on my physical, the physical book, and then listen to The Kiss Curse on audio. So that's 2 books that I am working on today, and I might pick up Vows and Ruins tomorrow. We'll see. But I'm not going to pick up too many books at one time in this reading vlog, so we'll just stick with that, and I will come back when I have another reading update for you. Today I need to read for 5 hours and 57 minutes. I actually already started this morning after drop off. I met a friend for a run, and then I went to Target and I listened to my audiobook while I was shopping. So I got just over an hour finished this morning, which is great. I have about an hour and a half left in my audiobook, The Kiss Curse. I'm really enjoying this. I do feel the romance in these particular books is a little fast for me. I would love to see a little bit more build between our characters. I mean, you get some, but it is a pretty fast fall. And the books are not long, so I kind of understand that they have to get the romance going in order to wrap up the story quickly, but I just wish there was a little bit more. But for the sake of fall vibes, a small town, there's witchy stuff, there's problems with their magic in every book. It makes sense. It's I'm having a good time. So it's a fun listen. As I said yesterday, it prompted me to make pumpkin bread, so I'm kind of in the fall mood because of reading this book, which I'm happy with. So I'm going to do a couple of things around the house and finish that audiobook, and then I'm about halfway through Bunny, which is such a trip. I have no idea what's happening in this book. It's a time. I'm really enjoying the writing. I think it's really, for me, it feels very unique. I don't read a ton of lit fic in general, so I don't know, but it's a time. So I would love to finish that one today too, but I might also pick up another book on my physical TBR. that I could get it on audio to listen to tomorrow during the day, I think. So those are my current plans, or I might pick up Vows and Ruins because I can't stop thinking about it. So I'll let you know when I finish the Kiss Curse what I decide to pick up, but that's kind of a feel for the day. I've got a lot of reading to do, not a ton of time, so I might be staying up a little bit late tonight, but that's okay. I think tomorrow is over 6 hours, so we're just getting like longer every day. Let's get to it. We have made it to the final day in this challenge. It's Friday and it's the longest day of reading. Surprise! We are at 6 hours and 25 minutes to read today. I actually already started for the day. I'm already at 4 hours and 30 minutes left. And to be honest, I feel like I would have read more this week than I have. And I think that's mostly because I've been doing a lot of audiobooks and I physically read faster than I listen, but in order to fit in the time, that's what I've had to do. So I'm okay with it. Let me give you a quick rundown on what I finished yesterday. So I did end up finishing The Kiss Curse on audio. I think I'm giving it like a 3.25. It was very cute. It was like exactly what I needed it to be. Got me in the fall mood. A little small town romance moment, but like it wasn't anything amazing or out of this world. Like I wasn't obsessed with the characters or the plot or the town or anything like that. Like it was just like a silly good time, and that's what I needed. So I'm totally fine with that. I know that not every book can be a 5-star. There wasn't anything about it that I was like, ew, you know, it was just like, it was a solid 3-star book. I don't know. And then I started Vows and Ruins by Helen Scher. I can't stop with this series. I'm so into it. And I'm currently 60% already through this book. I've been jumping between the audiobook and the Kindle version because I can't stop reading it. I meant to finish Bunny last night and I didn't even want to pick it up. By the time I got into bed, I still had over an hour left of reading and I was so tired. I knew I would not be able to focus on Bunny. So I just read my Kindle in bed, which I think was the right decision. But I'm loving Thea. I'm loving Wilder. In this second book, we're getting more of a dual POV. I feel like in book 1, we occasionally got Wilder's perspective, but this book is definitely more of a POV, a dual POV, which I'm really loving. We're seeing like how he's feeling about Thea, how she's feeling about him, and like the consequences of their actions from book 1, which I'm really loving. And also the world is getting a little bit bigger, it's getting more complex, it's getting a little bit darker. We've got some more conflict happening. Like we're getting to, I think, we're getting more information on what I think will be like the main conflict of the whole series. And so we're starting to learn some secrets, we're starting to get some more knowledge, and we're just getting like a little bit deeper into the world, which I'm really, really loving. So I'm having a great time. I highly recommend, if you are a fantasy romance girly, please pick up this series. I'm so into it. And I think there's a new series coming out by her within the same world, and there was a character in this book, Torge, I think that's how you say his name, and I was like, ooh, I want more on him. Can we get more on him? And I think he's in the new series, which makes me so happy. So I can't wait to finish this series and then get into that series. I don't think it's out yet, but I'll be ready to read it when it does come out, so I'm so excited. So today's plans, I still have 4 hours and 30 minutes left to read. I'm going to, fingers crossed, this is my goal. I want to finish Vows and Ruins. I also want to finish Bunny because I don't want to finish this challenge with having unread books. So I have a couple of things to do around the house, some cleaning. I'm also feeling like the itch to declutter a little bit. So I might pop on the audiobook for a little bit of Vows and Ruins and get a little bit further into that. And then tonight I will hopefully finish Bunny. Hopefully I'll keep you posted. I didn't really vlog yesterday, apologies, but hopefully today I'll have more of an update for you, and let's get to finish this last day. I just finished Vows and Ruins. What was that ending? Oh my gosh. I feel like I have to pick up book 3 immediately. So I'm glad this video is ending so that I can read the 3rd book this weekend. Oh my gosh. I have an hour and 14 minutes left on this timer. I will spend the rest of it tonight reading Bunny. I hope I can finish it because that would just be like icing on the cake for this video. But wow, what an ending. I was so not expecting that. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm still in shock. All right, it is a few days later and it is time to wrap up this reading vlog. I did in fact end up finishing Bunny Friday night. So let's take a look at all of the books that I read this week. First, we started off with Blood and Steel, which kicked off my obsession with the Legends of Thesmar series. I ended up reading Blood and Steel and Vows and Ruins. Overall, for me, so far, this is a 5-star series. I think I ended up giving Vows and Ruins 5 stars. I loved it so much, and the ending is explosive, it's nonstop, it's surprising. I was like in shock when I was reading the ending, and I've already started book 3 in this series and I'm a little nervous about where it's going to go just because of how book 2 ended, which is just how fantasy series go, but we're going to see where it goes. We're going to have a good time with it. I also read The Kiss Curse, which is in the X-Hex standalone series. I don't know what the name of that series is, but I had a great time. I think I gave it 3 stars. If you're looking for like fall romance vibes, this is an excellent series to start with. I think it just put me in the fall mood, which is kind of what I needed because we've had some really hot days here. So it was nice to kind of jump into like the season of fall. And then I finished off this vlog with Bunny, which I think is like a highbrow Mean Girls is how I'm going to describe it. And I have thought about the ending so many times in the last few days, like I can't stop thinking about it. This is not my typical go-to book, but I'm so glad I picked it up. I think it was really well written. Like it kept me engaged, it kept me on my toes. I could picture exactly what was happening at all times. I really loved this author's writing style, so I might pick up something by her in the future if I'm drawn to the synopsis. I finished this book and immediately texted my friends and I was like, what the heck was that? That was insane. But I'm so glad I read it because I've heard it talked about a ton and I just kind of wanted to see what the hype was about, and honestly I think it lives up to the hype for me, so I'm really glad I ended up reading it, and it's one more book off my physical TBR that I've read this week. So all in all, I had a very good reading week. I wouldn't say my screen time went down any, which is unfortunate, but I did end up reading 4 books, so I'm happy with that. I would love to do this challenge again in the future just to kind of see if maybe I can replace more of my screen time and maybe limit my screen time during the week, as well as read what my screen time was for the previous week, if that makes any sense, to hopefully like get off my phone even more so, because I realized I could have read even more if I had been on my phone that long. Now I will say I was listening to a lot of audiobooks, so that did play a part in my screen time, but overall I'm on my phone too much, and I think this was a testament to see how much I could be doing with the time given if I wasn't on my phone so much. So let me know in the comments down below if you liked this challenge, because I'll definitely film one again in the future. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'm so happy to have you here, and I hope to see you in the next one soon. Bye!